Hey guys, this is Tom Bonks. Welcome to MST.TV. Wow, different setting here, guys. But today's, before I jump into the Time Thief video, I want to showcase to you this beautiful box. This box here. If you guys remember, about 4 weeks ago, I was in the hospital because I got my stomach issue. It was pretty severe, and one of you guys, saw the post and decided to get me a get well gift. And not only did you get me it, you made this thing. So I'm gonna share it with everyone here in this video today. It finally arrived, and here we go. Oh. Wow. This is painted. Ooh, a new painting. You know, I have my MST background. This is beautiful. Shout outs to the Accredited Lion 83. Accredited Lion 83. You painted this when you shipped this to me. You got it resined up and everything. It smells like it too. And in the back there's even an inscription. It says, "Thank you for the work and thank you for all the work." Sorry, dyslexia kicking in. Wish you better days in your life, Antonio. Thank you so much. This is beautiful. I'm gonna hang this somewhere for sure. This is so nice. The beautiful black rose, the Aki, everything is nice. Shading, toning. Oh my god. I am honored to have a piece like this. And really honored. Guys, check out Accredited Lion 83. You can find him on Twitter. Check out his Instagram. And he didn't even want the shout out, but I'm gonna give it to him anyway, because this is amazing work. You know what, guys? Let's get back into today's video. And we're back. And this is gonna be a part of my set piece now. Very nice stuff, beautiful work, so vibrant. But hey guys, it's Tom Box, welcome to MST.TV. And I spent 48 hours playing Time Thieves, to the point where I got to Time Thief Raidraptor. I'm going to share with you guys all my findings, various things that can help you win the game, build good combos, and combo while under a dark lock, something that's very effective. How do you play without the infinity and stuff like that? Sharing all with you guys. We're going to start off with the combo, so make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, hit like, hit subscribe, ding the notification bell, especially if you're first time here, or if you're not even subscribed while watching multiple videos. What are you doing? Hit it down there. Thank you. And let's begin. Okay, to start things off, I'm going to show you guys the fundamental combo, which would be 1 Xyz rank 4 and 1 level 4 monsters on top, and then that's where most of the combos would start off. And I'm going to rewind to a certain part in the combo where it can start to branch on the end board, okay? So in terms of a 1-card combo, Time Thief Regulator is the 1-card combo that can lead to like a massive destructive hand. But let's start with the Regulator summon, and we'll send it to the graveyard to activate its effect, and we're going to summon onto the field a Winder and an Adjuster. Both of these will activate their effects, but you don't necessarily have to go into these monsters. You can definitely just use a Bezel Ship or even a Chronocoder, and that will change it up depending on the end board that you're trying to achieve. Some of these monsters can actually push further, but we are still going to throw the Bezel Ship into the graveyard because we're going to activate Adjuster and the Winder. The Winder is going to add something that's a bit more diverse for me, which is going to be the counter trap of Retrograde, and the Adjuster is going to throw the Bezel Ship into the graveyard, ultimately giving me that second level 4 monster on the field once I Xyz. So we're just going to flip these guys face down to minimize the confusion. We're going to overlay these two now, and that's going to go into our Raidraptor 4 Strix. 4 Strix effect, we're going to detach the Winder. It doesn't really matter what you detach, and we're going to add to our hand a Singing Lanius, which is going to be special summoned onto the field fairly shortly. Now we're going to activate the Bezel Ship. We're going to detach from the 4 Strix to special summon this one onto the field. Now we can special summon out our Singing Lanius. And now from this point, we're going to link these guys away, going into the, we'll use this zone here, Y Strix. Y Strix effect is going to activate, summoning out our Raider's Wing. So this is the part in the combo which I would probably rewind to once we get a chance in the next combo. And now we're going to overlay these two, and we're going to go into second 4 Strix. And this time we're going to detach the Raider's Wing. Now the Bezel Ship normally would get banished, however we're using it as Xyz material, so we're going to be able to recycle that part of the monster as well, giving you good recursion later on if you can make an Xyz monster. We're going to detach that and add a copy of our Strangle Lanius, which can special summon itself onto the field because we have Dark Monster. Now before that, we have a mandatory trigger from the Y-Strix. Now we have to make a choice of the Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force or the Rank Up Magic, I guess, Phantom Knight Force. We'll go with the Soul Shave Force first because I want to show you guys the standard end board, so this will move away. We'll still get into it, but we'll go into it afterwards. So this is going to be set onto the field, and it can be activated even if it was a quick play. So now we're going to activate the Soul Shade Force, paying half our life, which is a very hefty price, targeting our Force-Strix that was properly Xyz summoned. We're going to summon it onto the field and rank it up by 2, which gives us Cyber Dragon Infinity. This makes it so that we are super safe, so if they miss their opportunity to nib, then that's their problem. But at this point, we have an Xyz monster with a dark material, which means the Strangle Lanius can summon a card from the graveyard. So if you play Raidraptors a lot, you know this part of the combo anyways. Now we're going to activate Raider's Wing. We're going to detach the Beazle ship, putting it into the graveyard, and it lets us reuse it, and we can special summon out the Raider's Wing. We're going to take the Force-Strix and the Y-Strix, and we're going to link these two off, and that's going to let us go into our Rusty Bardiche. All right, with the Rusty Bardiche here, now we can activate Rusty. We're going to put into the graveyard our Boots, and we are going to set our Shade Brigadine onto the field. Okay, so these are still in my hand. I still have 4 cards. Well, technically, I have a ton of cards in my hand. This is gone, by the way. And now we set the Shade Brigadine. We can activate the Shade Brigadine. And before you lock yourself into Dark, you have to ask yourself, do you think you're going to get Super Poly? If you're going to get Super Poly, then you'll change up your combo. But say, in the instance, we're not going to get Super Poly, I probably am going to activate Strange Lanius to special summon itself out, because I'm going to lock myself into Dark anyway, because I'm not going to summon anything else anyway. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to banish the Boots, and I'm going to put onto the field the Rank Up Magic Force on the field. So that way, even if I hit a Dark Ruler no more or something along those lines, I'm not going to completely die because I'll still have my Requiem Dragon. Now from this point, I'm going to activate Strangle Lanius, and I'm going to special summon back my Singing Lanius onto the field because I have a Dark Xyz material, and now I can make my board. Now, I got to make sure that I can capitalize on most of my effects here. So I want something to be non-targetable, but that something is probably going to be my... I'm gonna go into the Xyz Dragon right here. Don't pop your own cards, it's kind of pointless. And then I'm going to use this one because I'm going to detach. These guys will go into my Redoer, so I can remove a card, also banish myself, which is also quite nice. And this way I have my Rank Up Magic Force. I also can set the Retrograde, ending my board with this level of interaction. If you want to count, I get Deck Knowledge on the standby phase, so that's already pretty good. So in terms of disruption, there is, well, 1 Omni Negate right here, which is nice, but I can die quite easily right now, so just be very careful. So it's 1 Omni Negate, 1 face up removal, we have 1 pop coming from the Rank Up Magic, we have 1 counter trap for spells and traps, and of course once we activate this and turn this into our Requiem Xyz Dragon, this will pop a card, of course. So technically it's 1, 2, 3, these two are counted together, 4, and then 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 disruption total, and of course you still have the 4 cards in your hand if you get the 1 card combo. Otherwise, I expect you to burn through at least 3 other cards if you want to play through hand traps, but this is kind of the board that we're trying to aim for. And yeah, having a counter trap against spells and traps is also quite nice because, you know, it shuts off a Dark Ruler at the very least. And even if you eat the Dark Ruler afterwards, you still have, you know, the Xyz Rebellion Dragon that you should hold on to just in case. So this is kind of the board we're going for. Okay, we just rewound back to the point where we just summoned out Cyber Dragon Infinity, which means the Soul Shade Force has been activated. We're at half our life, and we have our copy of Raider's Wing in the graveyard. So this is where we're going to start to change it up. So what if we want to make it so that your opponent cannot super poly you? There is a way to do it. So we're going to activate the Raider's Wing, okay, and we're going to detach our Beazle ship, and that's going to let us special summon out our Raider's Wing. Okay, so that part's still pretty normal. Now we're going to take these two. Once again, we're going to go into a Rusty Bardiche, but we're going to change up what we throw into the graveyard now. That's the flexibility of the deck, really. So that now that we have Rusty on here, we're going to activate the effect of Rusty, but this time instead of using the I guess the trap monster. Okay, we'll put the boots in. This time we're just going to go straight for the Fog Blade, and we're going to set it. And we're going to banish the boots, and we're going to add the Rank Up Magic Force. We're going to play it out a little bit differently this time. So we already have the monster here, and we just have to rework it around so that we can use the Strangle Lanius to its fullest capacity. So at this point, we're going to special summon out the Strangle Lanius, and we're going to use the effect of Strangle Lanius to summon out the Singing Lanius. All right. First monster we're going to go into, we're going to leave this monster out just in case, unless you want to protect your cards from being targeted, which is also fine. We're just going to use these two. We're going to overlay this into a Time Thief Redoer. So this sidestepping here is going to be a bit awkward. Don't pop your own cards, it's just silly. And now that we got this far, we're going to activate the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force, targeting the Time Thief Redoer. And this time, we're going to banish 3 cards. We're going to take away the Adjuster, the Redoer, and I guess we'll just take away our Y-Strix. Yeah, that's fine. And that's going to summon out our copy of Arsenal Falcon. Okay. Arsenal Falcon's effect, we can detach a monster. I'll just detach, say, the... Not the Raidraptor. We'll just detach the Time Thief. That's fine. And we're going to use this to summon out another Raider's Wing from the deck. See what I mean? Now we can overlay these two into Time Thief Perpetua. This is also gone. Time Thief Perpetua, so that we have a Time Thief monster. This is going to proc the Time Thief, the Rusty Bardiche. Rusty is going to pop the Arsenal Falcon, and that does have a Raidraptor monster attached, or technically this is also a Raidraptor monster. That's going to pop it, and that's going to activate in the graveyard. And when it activates in the graveyard, we can just grab our Ultimate Falcon, summon it onto the field, and then we can attach the Arsenal Falcon. This card's unaffected by everything, and having material is really good because this is just OT game. If this lives, the game's over. Now, that's not all. We did mention that we wanted to be super polyproof, and right now, I still have enough darks. So, Infinity Effect, we'll just equip the Rusty because we're not ranking up during our opponent's turn anymore. This becomes a liability. And now we can activate Perpetua's effect, target the Infinity, and give her another card, making it 27, making it just that much harder to kill. And we also have a Fog Blade that we set earlier, and now we can set a Retrograde, which we can still attach to this, which means we are still immune to Dark Ruler No More at some point. Now, when we pass back to our opponent's turn, remember that we can technically still revive the Redoer on their turn and attach cards, but that opens you up back to Super Poly. So this is an option. And then you can attach another material, putting this to 29, making it very, very hard to kill. In terms of like disruption level, you have 1, 2, and 3. Mainly 3. If you want 4, then you're going to be really greedy because now you're going to be facing off against maybe a Super Poly, and that could potentially crack your board. Not the easiest thing for them to break, I would say, but it's still like kind of annoying. And just make it so that they can't really play with the 3-card deficit. Then you can just completely destroy them with Arsenal Falcon. Because remember, Ultimate Falcon, I almost forgot, during the end phase, make them take 1,000 damage because they have no monsters on their side of the field. And when you detach this, what does Ultimate Falcon's effect do? Let's just actually just read it right now. Unaffected by all of the card effects. That's cool. You can detach 1 Xyz monster from this card. For the rest of the turn, all monster your opponent controls loses 1,000 attack. Also, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated. And if this card has a Raidraptor as an Xyz material, it gains the following effect. Yada yada yada, it burns your opponent. Yeah, but the point was that your opponent can't activate any cards or effects, and they have no way of negating this because I'm unaffected. You can't even solemn this card. So there you go. So combo number 3 here for you guys is going to be the Dark Lock combo. So what if you have to start with a Strangle Lanius and you just can't play with your light? So how do you adapt your combo from there? So here's one of the alternatives, like a hand like this. You have an Adjuster plus a Strangle Lanius. Normal summon out the Adjuster and use the effect. Dump into the graveyard the Beazle Ship. And because you control a dark monster, you can now special summon out your Strangle Lanius. Of course, remember, you only use one of the effects, not both of them. Okay, we're Dark Locked. So first things first, we continue to do the same thing over and over again, starting off with the Force Tricks. Using the effect of Force Tricks, we're going to detach our Time Thief Adjuster. It doesn't really matter what you detach here. And we're going to add to our hand a Singing Lanius. Using Bezel Ship's effect, we're going to detach the remaining material, summon out the Bezel Ship, and now we can special summon out our Singing Lanius. Now we can link this into our Raidraptor's Y-Strix. With the Y-Strix, we're going to special summon out our Raider's Wing. All this seems very familiar. Technically, you have 3 other cards in hand, and one of the best extenders, if you did have it, would be the Time Thief Winder, because it does give you 1 additional monster and a counter trap to play against your opponent. But say we did not have this, we are going to now overlay these 2 into another Force Strix. Here's the fun part. Force Strix number 2, we're going to detach our Raider's Wing. And that is going to let us add, I guess there's nothing really good to add, but don't add something that you really shouldn't add. If you already have the boots in your hand, then don't add the Raider's Wing. Instead, just go for the Strangle Lanius, which is why I play 3 copies of Strangle. So I have a Strangle in my hand now. That's going to activate the effect of Y-Strix. We're going to set onto the field the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force. We're going to set this card onto the field. Now remember, Y-Strix effect does let us activate the Quick Play. So it says it right here. Set 1 Rank Up Magic spell directly from your deck. And if it is a Quick Play spell, it can be activated this turn. That is so key. Otherwise, you'd just be a dud. It'd be kind of useless. So now that we have an activatable Rank Up Magic on the field, that lets us protect ourselves. We can actually just, like, if we get nibbed here, we're completely safe because we're just going to chain onto it and make ourselves an Ultimate Falcon. But in the case that we don't get nibbed, we're just going to detach this material, the Bezel Ship, to summon out the Raider's Wing, and we are just going to do some regular I guess regular linking stuff. So we don't really actually have too much going on right now, so we're going to put the Rusty onto the field. Okay, so this Strangle Lanius can't summon itself, which is like a big, like, oh my god, that kind of sucks. But at least we still have Rusty. Using Rusty's effect, we are going to put a Shade Brigandine onto the field. And we're also going to be putting the boots into the grave. This is super essential because we need something to rank up, and without it, it's a big bummer. So we're going to activate the Shade Brigandine, summon the Shade Brigandine out onto the field, and we can even banish the boots. Up to you of where you want to take this. If you want to rank up again to have some level of negation, grab the second rank up magic into your hand. Otherwise, go for the Fog Blade. If you already have it, then go for whatever piece that you're missing. So from here, we can definitely do some major damage here. So we're going to overlay these 2 right now, and we're going to go into a Time Thief Redoer. Okay, we're not going to pop ourselves just yet, but from here, we're going to activate the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force. We're going to target the Redoer. We're going to banish 3 cards. It would take away our Force Strix. Leave 1 in there just in case you do get a chance to use your Soul Shade Force. Leave at least 1 Wing Beast in there. We're going to throw away the Adjuster. We'll just throw away that piece right there, the Y-Strix. And now we can go into our Arsenal Falcon. Since Arsenal Falcon has the materials, we're going to go ahead and activate and detach a material. And we're going to summon out a level 4 Wing Beast from our deck. Mainly the Strangle Lanius, because I don't believe that the effects are negated. It just says summon it out from your deck. So now that I have a Xyz monster with a dark material, I'm going to activate Strangle Lanius' effect, special summon from the graveyard, I guess my other Strangle Lanius or Singing Lanius, whatever monster you want to get to, and this is gone. Now we're going to overlay these 2 together, and we can make, now here's your choice. If you want to start stacking materials and maybe revive the Time Thief Redoer that we're about to pop, then go for the Perpetua. If you think you want to negate your opponent's monster effects overall, then go for the Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, because you already have the rank up magic. But if you went for the Fog Blade, then of course go for the Perpetua, so you have a longer lasting board. But ultimately, if we say we end it like this, okay, with the Rebellion Dragon, Rusty's effect, we're going to pop our Raidraptor Arsenal Falcon. We have a Raider's Wing, which is a Raidraptor card. This is going to activate. And if it activates, we're going to grab ourselves the Ultimate Falcon, special summon it onto the field, and we're going to attach this. And during the end phase, you get to, of course, burn your opponent for 1,000, set the rank of magic, and more or less, you still technically have 3 other cards here if you did not get completely screwed. But this is, if you're forced to go into a dark combo because nothing else really worked out, then this is a potential end board for you. And if you went the other way around, of course, you would have Time Thief Redoer, and then you have more shenanigans to play. If you had the Winder, at some point in the combo, you could have actually detached from the Arsenal Falcon, summoning this card out, getting you a copy of your counter trap, which is, I think, is actually really useful because now you have another level of disruption. And then you probably wouldn't go into the Xyz Rebellion play, but instead you would go into the Perpetua and summoning back your cards. And it's just really good to have that level of multi-layer disruption. All right, to close out this video, the deck list is right here on the side if you want to follow along, give you additional tips. So starting off with the Time Thief package, we have Triple Regulator. This is your rescue cat. Just prioritize whether or not you want this effect to go through, or maybe you want the 2 summons to follow afterwards to go through. Always plan ahead, because expect that negations are going to occur and disruptions are going to happen, and you're going to have to deliberate which one you want to go through. This one going through, of course, is a 1-card combo, but the other one isn't as bad because more or less you'll end in the same position. So that's what you have to think about when you use the Regulator. And be careful with your summons. Do you want to start with the Regulator or not? Next, we have Time Thief Winder. Winder, I guess just remember you can just detach an Xyz material to summon this one out from your hand. It's a nice free special summon that also gives you the search. This should not be the one that you normal summon. If you're debating whether or not you have to normal summon a Time Thief, this is a true extender, whereas the others probably aren't. If you have a Bezel ship or Winder, normal the Bezel ship if that's what you need. Unless you need to search for a startup, then you would go for the Winder first. So be very smart with your decision, because this is not something that is obvious. Then we have Double Adjuster with the 2 ships, I guess 1 ship and 1 chronocoder. So this is your Foolish Burial, dumping mainly Bezel ship or chronocoder, and yeah, that's really all I have to say about her. But she's also a free special summon from your hand if you normal summon a Time Thief. What I really don't like what Konami did to her, of course, is that you can only use one of her effects and only once per turn. In other words, you can't get both effects. That's the biggest problem. If you made her able to use both effects on the same turn, like special summon and ditch a card into the graveyard, then I would say Time Thief can play through many more hand traps like that, like by far. But now we are not going to get that, so that's kind of sad. So I feel a little sad for Time Thief Adjuster and Bezel, and the other ship just good for extending overall because they can summon themselves back from the grave. In for the Raidraptor package, 1 Singing Lanius. Even if you open in your hand, that's fine because you can just search other Raidraptors. So speaking of Raidraptors, we have Triple Strangle Lanius. Free summon from hand, lock you into dark. That's fine because your entire extract made of dark, except for Cyber Dragon Infinity. That's the only limitation. That's why we play 2 of the Phantom Knights rank up Magic Force. But this is also really good when it comes to you having an dark Xyz material. This just lets you revive another monster from grave. So summon from hand and a free revive from grave. In other words, acts as a +1. And it's free summon too, so help you combo. But if you're using it to combo in the beginning, no CDI, and plan your end board accordingly. And speaking of other Raidraptors, Raider's Wing, and this is also a Phantom Knight card. Yeah, so if you can Dutch this with Rusty in case you open with this in your hand, and if you open with the Silent Boots in your hand, you should use the Silent Boots to make the Rusty with the Wise Tricks. There's a part of the combo where you would have a Raider's Wing on the field, and they would summon this, and you take those 2 and make the Rusty. That's the tip right there. And as for, I guess, the Raider's Wing, be very careful if you do have that kind of opening so that you leave something for Rusty to send to the graveyard. Otherwise, you're going to lock yourself out, and that's going to suck a lot. And moving on, we have Extenders, Dinotheriums. Giving your opponent monster is fine because you'll just pop it, especially in the opening combo. Hat Tricker is also really good. I don't play Petting Cessor because Petting Cessor contradicts with the Regulator. Here's the contradiction. If this was the Petting Cessor, if I special summon out the Petting Cessor, then the Regulator just becomes a regular normal monster, like, because it can't activate its effect. So if I use the Regulator first and tribute it, now I can't summon out the Petting Cessor. In other words, it's super conflicting. They don't work together. Why don't you just use a card with a different purpose, which is why I chose to go with these 4 instead. I am not playing Parallel Xyz because that's a win more card, and you have to have the combo to get through to begin with. And because of that, I also cut down on the number of link monsters in the deck, so that's why I am able to cut it as well. Then I have the Phantasme. Because it's Dragon Links, I just need to be able to sculpt my hand. Yeah, just make sure that it is just as good as it needs to be. And that's why I play it. It's mainly for the meta call, but there's about 8 spots worth of space for you to kind of manipulate. Spell cards, Soul Shade Force making CDI mainly, and then we have Phantom Knights rank up Magic Force. Dodging hand traps, making OTK, one-shot your opponent occasionally, especially if they burn all their effects. Then you just have to make a Dark Xyz, activate this, make Arc Rebellion, boom, one-shot them. Otherwise, if you're trying to dodge Nibiru or your opponent is like throwing Nibiru on you, then you can use this to turn it into an Arsenal Falcon and make an Ultimate Falcon for them to eat. And then you can just play around it more or less. But that's how you can have a proper follow-up. Otherwise, eating a Nibiru is a straight weakness, and eating like Super Poly is also pretty bad. Here's the part that people don't really agree with, triple startup. But triple startup, I just think that if you're going to get disrupted, I'd rather have something to follow up that summons out properly and just lets you play. And that's why I'm playing triple startup. You don't have to play like this, you can just play one like most people do, but I'm playing 3 because I just like having the additional extender. After they thought that it was all over and I can't combo, you just surprise them with an additional body to extend your combo to the fullest extent that it can go. Then Dark Ruler, I don't think there's any explanation here. It's just I need to break some boards, and you can control the board once you have the whole board under like your entire Dark Xyz board. Double Cosmic Cyclone and 1 Call by the Grave, just to eat the Ash mainly. And then there's Cosmic Cyclone for the Eldritch, and this can work for Eldritch as well, I guess. And finally, we have our traps. We have Triple Shade Brigandine, level 4 extenders, also a trap good for, what's his name? Redoer. And this is a good extender. Even if you don't have the proper board, it's fine. Like, you don't have to end with a Redoer with this attached to it all the time. You just have to adjust your end board according to what your opponent is playing. If they're playing Super Poly, it's very unlikely that you're going to keep a Time Thief on the board. You're going to end up just wiping everything out based off of what you've seen in the combo. This should be able to eat your Dark, I guess not really Dark Ruler no more, but more or less you're going to be able to use this to try to eat the droplet in case they don't send a trap. And you have Fogblade as a layered disruption against your opponent, but you might not always go for the Fogblade. And Dark Ruler no more isn't exactly an issue if you have like the Rusty, and then you also have the rank up magic, because you'll just rank up after everything gets negated, so they have to play around that as well. And of course, the extra deck, guys. So for Time Thief monsters, we have 1 Perpetual and 1 Redoer. I'm not running Double Barrel. Double Barrel is kind of awful, and your opponent can really play around that card. So it's just going to stick with the 2 good ones here, and the rest of the extra deck is just good enough to handle on its own. And speaking of toolboxes of the extra deck, we have Abyss Dweller and Tornado Dragon. They aren't dark, which is one of the key factors here. It's mainly to dodge Super Poly. Super Poly is devastating. I ate one that ate 3 of my dark monsters, and the game was over. So gotta play around it, and Abyss Dweller can shut off the graveyard. This can deal with a lot of the spells and traps, which lets you have a much stronger follow-up. Then we have our Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon, and our Xyz Dragon package of Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. Of course, you guys know what they do. Negate stuff, OTK, that's what they're there for. For the Raidraptors, 2 copies of Force Tricks, because Force Tricks is Force Tricks. You need them to proc off, and you need them to search. They are part of your key combo piece. 1 Arsenal Falcon and 1 Ultimate Falcon. These 2 kind of go hand in hand. Just remember, this also summons out Raidraptors from the deck, so very important. And it only gets the summon of Ultimate Falcon if it's attached to a Raidraptor monster. It doesn't have to be a Link Xyz monster, but as long as it has a Raidraptor attached to it and sent to the grave, boom, you get yourself the Ultimate Falcon. Then we have 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity, because you have the rank up magic for it. And as for the remaining monsters, Wystrix and Rusty can't be cut, but the Boral Sword, on the other hand, the Boral Sword can be cut because it's Boral Sword. I don't really summon it very often, but only to go for game if I have it. You can switch it for any other dark monster. Just keep it dark, otherwise you're not going to be able to summon it either way. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Have fun with the Raidraptor Time Thieves. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button for me. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, namely like that binder, side deck binder that you should have, or every player should have, that's going to be coming up, and there's going to be a giveaway announced in that one. So stay tuned for that video. Subscribe, ding notification bell, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day, and peace out.